Thank you, sir, for giving us a little bit of your time. Now, the elections are over, and obviously, for those of us in the sports fraternity, we're looking at some positivity in terms of development, in terms of infrastructure, indeed, the works across board. First of all, have we congratulated the incoming president, and what are we expecting from him?
My pleasure, Prince. The leadership of the Sports Writers Association of Ghana duly have congratulated the president-elect, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. It is something we do, but we also have congratulated him primarily because of all the political parties. It was the NDC that opened their doors to have discussions with SWAG and other stakeholders as far as sports development and promotion is concerned. So we are happy that the NDC, who opened up to us, have won the elections. We are happy that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is going to lead this country for the next 4 years. We are happy that, and we will be happy that the discussions we had with himself and his team, they would try to implement them. So indeed, we have congratulated him. We are only hoping that because he intends to reset Ghana, it is important he considers resetting sports. We have said that sports is a major sector of the economy we disregard. Sports is as big as the agric sector. Sports is as big as the health sector. Sports is important as the education sector, because sports creates employment. Sports is business. And if sports thrives, your country thrives. It takes care of health issues. It brings solid economic returns through tourism, through participation and all that. Unfortunately, we have not paid attention to sports. We have said that if the net worth of Serena Williams is around $400 million, if the net worth of Usain Bolt is around $300 million, then it is important for us as a country to encourage participation and create world beaters. Because if we have the likes of Usain Bolt and Serena Williams in this country, I don't think we'll be running to IMF for loans, because the kind of money they would make will be saved in our banks, and it will be a turnover for the economy. So it is important for this government to reset sports as they consider to reset the entire country. And normally when things get bad and you get somebody who wants to fix, you take advantage of that wind that is blowing to push for that agenda. It is why in the congratulatory message by the Sports Writers Association of Ghana, we indicated to the president-elect that it was important for the new leadership to invest in sports development and promotion, to consider grassroots sports, and to do a lot more to ensure that Ghana competes and becomes one of the best in the world. So for SWAG, we would work with the leadership to ensure that sports gets to the level we all want it to be.
You kept hammering on the word sports. And for my brothers and sisters who dabble and participate in other sporting disciplines, they feel they are left out anytime there is a wind of change. It looks like concentration goes only into association football, to the detriment of the other sporting disciplines. Let's talk to the volleyballers. Let's talk to the handballers. Let's talk to the basketballers, the weightlifting, the arm wrestling. What kind of forceful way forward should we expect in terms of development, in terms of support, so that Ghana can rub shoulders with the rest of the world when push comes to shove?
What I think must happen is a general orientation about sports and what it stands for. If there's an orientation from the presidency to the lists on sports, not football, then I'm sure a lot of things will change. The narratives will change. The investment or the over-investment in football will change. I sit here and I feel that football, for instance, should be autopiloted. Okay, the Black Stars, for instance, where it has gotten to, naturally attract sponsorship. So Black Stars or football must live on the sponsorship that it enjoys. Government should then begin to invest in other sporting disciplines. Now, when we all embark on that orientation, we will look at the interest of the people. We will look at the comparative advantage of the country. We cannot just get up and play any sport. So, if we have played football over the years and it's bringing us no results, let us look at the other sporting disciplines. So we look at arm wrestling, athletics, boxing, and the rest. How do we fare continentally? If we can challenge continentally, then we must invest in it. One of the challenges we have had is not just because we don't have talent, but it is because we don't expose our talent to competitions. It's a major problem. If we do not expose our talents to competitions, if we do not create competitions, then they will not be competition ready. When it comes to the major events, they cannot compete. Now, fortunately for us, we have some infrastructure now as part of the legacies of the Africa Games. What this new government must do is to consider sports business, sports tourism, sports entertainment and all, and put them together. Let us begin to host major events. Once you host major events, you create competition for your athletes. It is tourism. You expose Ghana to a number of people. It creates business for people who hover around sports. You and I know that during games or during sporting events, the watcher seller, the groundnut seller, the water seller, the taxi driver, the hotel manager, and all, they make money. Even journalists. So it is important for government to realize that sports is as big as the Foreign Affairs Ministry. Sports is as big as the Education Ministry. Like I just said, when sports is being played, journalists are at work. They make money. So assuming we're hosting an international event or we are traveling outside, a number of journalists get to work and they are paid. The hawkers get to work and they are paid. Those who deal in paraphernalia. So it is the doctor is involved, those who deal in clothing are involved, those who deal in kitting are involved, the transport, everybody is involved. That's why I say sports is big. I don't want to blaspheme to say that it's bigger than some other sectors of the economy. But I have given you a scenario. If we play sports well, it may be better and bigger and lucrative than cocoa. It may be bigger, better, and lucrative than gold. I'm saying that what do we need is a conscious investment, and the results will begin to flow in. In the days when Azuma Nelson was fighting, in the days when Ikote was fighting, in the days when Joshua Clottey was fighting, I have had a relationship with these boxers, and they made millions of dollars. So assuming all these millions of dollars comes into the country, you run it around and you'll be cool. We are told of the story of DK Poison, where his money had to be used to import sardine into this country. That tells you how big sports can be. So I think that there should be a general orientation so that parents will not chastise or beat their children for playing sports. The teacher will not abuse the kid for playing sports. Because sometimes the teacher will call you, hi sir, obano pagrododo, without knowing that agro is a talent we must nurture or develop. Exactly. I think the orientation must change. Elsewhere, in America, for instance, people are done with high school or college and they get employed through sports. Why can't we do same? Unfortunately for us, people get done with university and they are unemployed. So, why don't we encourage the participation of sports, the playing of sports? We get the security services to recruit athletes. We get the universities to recruit these young athletes, because once you are able to play well, then you become pro. If you become pro, there will be no pressure on government to employ people. If sports thrives, there will be no pressure on government. Like I said, people get out of university elsewhere and they are employed through sports. Why can't we do same in this country? The sports ecosystem is big. And I challenge His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the new leadership to consider sports as a major tool for economic development, should consider sports as a major tool for tourism, should consider sports as a major tool for unification, unifying the nation. It is important that we choose sports ahead of a number of, stuff as far as the development of this country is concerned.
Well said, Charles. But there's also the school of thought, for example, that politicians, as we know them, follow what they call their manifestos without giving ample regard to policies that are supposed to reign supreme when it comes to the development and promotion of sports in this country. How do we change that mindset, in your humble thoughts, that we rather give a lot more recognition and mileage to policies rather than to follow manifestos? Because it looks like manifestos in the end is supposed to rather develop the individual. Policies are rather supposed to develop the nation.
So, Uncle Prince, my biggest disappointment is the fact that politicians use sports to get power. When they are done getting power, they dump sports. They don't even pay attention to it. So during campaign periods, you see politicians organizing football games, basketball events and all that. When they win power, that's it. But I use your platform to tell politicians that what happened on December 7th, they shouldn't take Ghanaians for granted. I use your platform to tell politicians that some of us are going to embark on a campaign to fix politics. You cannot just take advantage of the citizenry. For those of us who are into sports, what they must know is that we have numbers. For us, the numbers we control is big. And the numbers we control can make and unmake any politician. So they shouldn't take us for granted because we are coming together big time. what we as federation or journalists must also do is to believe in what we have, is to work on packaging. We should package the product of sports so that the politician will believe in us, so that the politician won't even feel that sports the NFA. Unfortunately, Mr. Annan, our media houses do not place priority on sports. So you take the dailies, and sports is the last thing on the last page. Even some of the dailies don't even publish sports. You go to the broadcast platforms, and it's about social stuff, and sports is always the last thing, as if sports is not important. I think that the narratives must change. We must have an orientation. We must repackage. We must have a mindset of resetting. We must build the capacities of officials or administrators. We must even look at the life after sports policy for athletes. I mean, it's a whole thing we need to do. But like I said, politicians will come up with policies, beautiful campaign messages to, lure us to vote for them. And when they get power, they forget about us. But like I've said, the sports economy is big. You cannot take advantage of us anymore. So you need to fix sports and fix politics.
Before we wrap up with our discussion, and as leader of the effort to put arm wrestling on the world map in terms of participation of the average Ghanaian who has found himself into that sport, again, share with us in your own words in just a few minutes, what's the future like? Because it looks like a lot of the youth have embraced arm wrestling based on what we saw at the Africa Games and the medals that you chalked for Ghana. Does the future look good?
Well, the future is super bright, but for the people around me, but for the future of these athletes we have introduced to the sport, I would have hung my gloves. I would have forgotten about arm wrestling. I don't expect Ghana to do anything for me, but it's pathetic that for what we have been able to do in 8 years, we are still not appreciated. And I find it worrying. You find athletes going to the world to win world championship medals, and it is just a golden handshake. Nobody appreciates, and that lady hasn't been rewarded. You find Ghanaians moving up into positions at the global level, and nobody appreciates. I mean, you win an unprecedented 41 medals in an African Games event, and nobody appreciates. But like I said, but for the people who have come to believe in the sport, we would have given up. We pray that one day, it's an advocacy I have embarked on. We pray that we get a training center. We pray that the office of the Africa Arm Wrestling is set up in Ghana so that it will influence development and expansion of the sport. We want to encourage participation. We would continue, going into the senior and the junior high schools. We'll continue to work with the tertiary institutions. We'll continue to train trainers. We'll continue to host competitions. And that is the only way the sport will become relevant and popular. We call on corporate Ghana that our brand is growing. Our brand has become big. Let's have a relationship. Let's have an association. Arm wrestling is that sport that will bring Ghana's first Olympic medal.
Thank you very much for talking to us.
My pleasure.
Very, very